Temperatures 21 degrees Fahrenheit. Looks can be deceiving. Looks very bright, very sunny, but temperatures 21 degrees Fahrenheit. America looks beautiful. Snow. All over is snow. Looks can be deceiving. 21 degrees Fahrenheit. And the weather is sunny. 21 minus that 2 is 11 divided by 1.8 or divided by 2, they are 10. No, 5. It's like minus 6 degrees Celsius. Driving on a bright Sunday. Sunday. Very bright, but very cold. Minus 6 degrees Celsius today. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to put gas on my car. Yeah. Car doesn't have gas. Actually, I think I don't know how they can see the yellow light there. I see that yellow light saying that the fuel tank is empty, so it needs gas. So going to a place called Costco. It's cold. The beauty of America is snow. The beauty of America is snow. Looks can be deceiving. Yeah, minus degrees Celsius. Minus 6 degrees Celsius. Yeah, you have to have gloves on yourself. So, I'm not talking much. There's nothing much to explain here. Just to show you how America looks like. This is an intersection.
20. Tonight, a chance of snow in the evening, then snow likely overnight for mid and southeast Michigan. Lows between 5 and 10 above. This is Freakonomics Radio. Here's your host, Stephen Dubner.
Eric Kleinenberg, the NYU sociologist, has come to hold a fairly nuanced and somewhat contrarian view on loneliness, but he didn't start out that way. The story begins in 1995 in Chicago after a terrible heat wave.
739 people died.
Kleinenberg was just starting graduate school at Berkeley, but Chicago was his hometown.
It is my city. I cared about it. And Chicago, prides itself as being the city of neighborhoods, a city of tight social connections. And this was such a big puzzle to me. Why did so many people in a booming American metropolis in the 1990s die of this heat wave?
After his first semester in Berkeley, he went back home.
And I started digging around and I looked at all the data, and there was this puzzle that the epidemiologist picked up, which is that they had models that would predict how many people would die given certain climate conditions, and the deaths in the heat wave were far higher. The weather didn't explain it, the physiology of people in the city didn't explain it. So I came up with this idea of doing what I call a social autopsy, right? I was going to open up kind of the skin of the city, just like a doctor doing an autopsy opens up the skin of a body, and try to diagnose the organs that broke down. And the first thing I learned is that people died alone in the heat wave because so many people were living alone.
That basic fact, he said, was something that people weren't really talking about.
The sad thing about a heat death is it's so easily preventable if you're with someone else who recognizes it. One of the most, maybe the most important risk factor for dying in the heat wave was living alone.
He ultimately wrote a book about the tragedy called Heat Wave.
And this theme of people living alone and dying alone was one of many themes in the book.
But Kleinenberg knew he had stumbled onto an even bigger idea, and he planned a new research project.
And it was my conviction that what the heat wave had uncovered for me is this incredible spike in loneliness, isolation, disconnection. What I thought I was going to discover in this new project was an America that had become so individualistic, so atomized, so disconnected by the 20th century marketplace, the decline of public institutions.
And even though you haven't used words to say it, the tone of your voice implies that that's a purely negative
the
outcome.
End of everything. You think it's bad out there, but I was going to show you just how bad it was. We have destroyed social ties. I was down, man. No, I thought things were falling apart. And there's a tradition, by the way, in kind of American intellectual life that sees decline, right? That sees, we're bowling alone. It's the fall of public man, the lonely crowd. I do think that the heat wave allowed me to see something that really had not gotten sufficient attention.